hopefully you're in the right spot. This is the Medical Science Program's welcome session for mid-year entry into our medical science programs. For mid-year entry, we do have 4 different programs that students can enter into. Our Bachelor of Medical Science, our Bachelor of Medical Science Honours program, so that's a 3-year degree with the 4th year honours attached to that. Our Bachelor of Medical Science Laboratory Medicine and our Associate degree in Medical Science Laboratory Medicine courses. I'll talk more about those shortly as we go through, but just making sure everybody's in the right spot. We are going to talk through a lot of different things today about the course, about getting started at Flinders. Hopefully that's relevant for you if you've already done some prior study at Flinders. Some of it will be very familiar and a bit of a rehash, but sometimes it's always useful to hear these things twice. But I do want to acknowledge that we're meeting today on the lands of the Kaurna people, and I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, and really just think of how learning and teaching has been happening really on these sites for a good kind of 60,000 years or so. So I think that that's really important to acknowledge. And as you may be aware or may not be aware, Flinders actually has a really large footprint across South Australia, up through the Northern Corridor and then up into the Northern Territory as well. So we obviously do cover traditional lands of a number of different people. So I do pay my respects to elders in those regions as well. I can just see the controls doing a few different things, so hopefully I can be heard easily enough. So our agenda today, a few different people are going to say a few things. It'll be mostly me doing a lot of the talking, so apologies about that. And we'll try not to drag it on for too long because it is very cold in this room, as you've probably realised. Number 1 tip, always bring a warm jacket to this room. For some reason, the air conditioning is always on and we can't seem to be able to turn it off. So I'm going to talk a little bit about just getting your essentials sorted when you come to university, a few of the key things like Wi-Fi and getting a student card and all of those sorts of things. And then Tessa, our student administration services, or actually our enrolment and course advisor, will speak briefly. And we've got Melissa, our student success and wellbeing advisor, will speak as well. I'll come back and talk more about the medical science programs more specifically. I'll tell you a little bit about our student support services and our peer mentoring program. And I don't have his name on there, but Phil is our peer mentor for semester 2 entry. And then we've got Kirsty, our FUMES president. So FUMES is the Flinders University Medical Science Society. So Student Society, we'll talk briefly about that as well. So they run a lot of social events, but also kind of support events for students. All right, so I'll rush through this pretty quickly because a lot of it you can find online, and hopefully it's stuff that you might have already actually been able to sort out from the initial information that's been sent to you. So if you want to access Wi-Fi, the hospital is covered by Eduroam. All up in the main campus is covered by Eduroam. Sometimes in the hospital there's a few little spots where Eduroam drops out, but it mostly does a pretty good job. So you can access that Eduroam network, use your FAN as your username and then your Flinders password to be able to get on. If that's not working for you, then there's this website here which will help highlight how to do that effectively. New students, again, you've possibly already come here, but I really recommend coming to this students.flinders.edu/compass to go to your kind of student dashboard, and that's where a lot of information will be on, what you need to do as a new student in terms of finding classes, how to enrol, how to register, and all of those sorts of things. And we can obviously assist with that as well if you're finding it a little bit difficult to find that information. Ordering a student ID card, you can do that online, which makes that a lot of an easier process these days. And then I believe if you don't want to wait for it to be posted out to you, you can go up to Flinders Connect to pick it up. So Flinders Connect is in the main campus. So we always call this the hospital. That's the main campus up the hill. You can get there if you didn't come that way through a tunnel that goes underneath University Drive. And so essentially you follow the tunnel and then just follow all the stairs up around buildings, and then you'll get to the main hub. And Flinders Connect is part of that hub. So it's near the central library up there. So really most of the major student services are located up in that region. So you will find you do get relatively good at tackling stairs at this university. It can help with your fitness if you need to. It's not ideal in the rain like I had to do yesterday, trying to walk between up like the education building and down here. So again, most of you might have already done this, but you need to enrol in topics, obviously, and when you enrol in topics, then there's specific classes that you actually have to register into. So you can do that via the student system. The system isn't the most intuitive system, so I do find sometimes you'll be looking for topics and you can't see them, but sometimes you need to kind of tick a box, and then that enables a drop-down menu to happen. But you can see here, you kind of have to agree to a declaration, scroll down to see the topics available to you, and then you can place ticks next to them to enrol, and then you actually specifically go in and select those classes that you want. If there's a topic that you think should be available to you, so you can see that it's it's available in semester 2, it's a first year topic, it's on the course rule, and you can't see it, then let us know, because sometimes the system just doesn't quite like to speak to what should be available, and we can make sure that that does become available to you. So our learning management system that we have here at Flinders is we refer to as Flow, Flinders Learning Online. So even though that makes it sound as if it's a purely online or it's only for students studying online, it's not. That's where all of your learning materials are going to be placed, and then you'll come in for your actual classes. But you want to check out Flow. A lot of your topics should be available now, so if you've enrolled in topics, you should be able to see them with some kind of initial information around those topics. So if you go to canvas.flinders.edu, you should see these kind of tiles there with the topics that you're enrolled into. So like I said, they should be available now because they should go live 7 days before classes commence. And a lot of the time there'll be some intro information that you can start looking at to help prepare you as you head into this new semester. Transport, Flinders has got a number of different ways of getting here. So you can drive in and park. If you park, you need to pay for parking. You can do that via a semester-long permit, or you actually can just pay as you use. And depending on how long you're going to be in here, if you're only in here 2 days a week, it's actually cheaper to pay for a daily kind of permit compared to a semester-based permit. If you're going to be here more than 3 to 4 days, then sometimes the semester permit is the cheaper option. There's buses that run either directly to the front of the medical centre or up to the hub in the bus depot kind of region there. So again, depending on where you live and how easy it is to catch those buses. There's the train that obviously runs from the city through to the Flinders railway station with a number of stops along the way. And there is a loop bus as well. So that does connect between all of the different campuses, I guess, of Flinders. So there's a loop bus that starts down at the Flinders train station, will take you all the way up to the most northern or most upper part of the university. You can get a bus to Sturt, so if you do have any topics out of the Sturt campus, which is just kind of over that way a little bit, and they'll come back around near here as well. So the buses are a good way of travelling if you don't feel like tackling a whole heap of stairs throughout the campus. Scholarships, there's a number of different scholarships that Flinders offers, and we find some students will end up telling us about how they just need a bit of extra cash for something, but then won't feel as if they're eligible for scholarships. That's absolutely not correct. Go on, have a look at the scholarships website, find which ones are available and which ones might suit you, whether you're commencing students, so all of you starting here would be commencing students, and just see what's available and apply for anything that you possibly can, because we do find sometimes some scholarships people don't even apply for and they go empty because students don't feel as if they perhaps fit the criteria or that they're deserving on it. If you need a scholarship, or if if you're a student at Flinders, you should be applying for as many scholarships as you possibly can, would be my advice. So check out those and see which ones are available. Obviously, we want you to be safe on campus, so if you do experience any unacceptable behaviour or harassment, or you witness, then you can make a confidential report on that. So you can look at safety on campus at flinders.edu.au, you can email studenteo@flinders.edu.au, but this is also the security number here. So even if you're kind of walking around campus late at night and you want a security guard to be aware of where you're moving or even to accompany you, you can call that number and have a security guard meet you and walk with you. So that's something to keep in mind. But again, if you do encounter something that is unacceptable or witness that, then making that report doesn't have to trigger a full complaint. It can just make people aware that there was something that happened that wasn't, acceptable. And then you could start thinking about whether that turns into a report or not. But sometimes a more formal complaint. But certainly if you see anything that just makes you feel a bit uncomfortable or experience anything that makes you feel uncomfortable, this could be a good starting point to make sure you're being referred to the correct services and make sure that, the university is aware of things that are happening on campus that shouldn't be. All right, key dates in semester 2. So this is O Week. Really around this Bedford Park campus, there's activities happening today and there was activities happening yesterday as well. So after this, I'm pretty sure there's a free lunch up in the hub. So if you want to take advantage of getting some free food, head up there. There's some stalls and things like that where you can get freebies as well and find out a little bit more about clubs that are run around the university and some of the other services and things that the university offers. Next week is our first week of classes, and then we do have Connect Week as well happening next week. So keep an eye on the orientation planner because that'll highlight different things that are happening. So a lot of the orientation things that are happening this week, like library tours and activity sessions run by the Student Learning Support Service, they will all be happening next week too, as well as some other fun activities to help students start connecting with each other and connecting with the university. The last day to enrol in topics is the 2nd of August, so that's towards the end of week 2. That one's important to keep in mind because if you enrol in some topics and go, actually I really don't like this one, if it's an option topic, you can withdraw from it and re-enroll into another topic, one that might suit you a little bit better, but you need to do that before the end of week 2. Census date, the 23rd of August, week 5, past census will mean essentially that you have to pay for the topics you're doing and they will be classed on your academic transcript. So again, if you get to near week 5 and you're really not liking a topic that you're studying, withdraw from it before census date and you won't end up paying for it and it won't be noted on your academic transcript. And then we do have the 4th of October is the last day to withdraw without failure. So if you withdraw before this date, you still will have to pay for the topic if you've stayed beyond census, but your grade for that topic will be listed as a WN. So that's a withdraw, no fail, and that doesn't count towards your GPA. So if GPA is important for you, you can keep track of how your grades are going and just keep in mind that date to see if you need to withdraw prior to, so it doesn't actually impact your final grades and your final GPA. All right, I will pass you on to Tess. Kelly's not here to talk about our student admin services. You can grab this one.
Hi everyone, thanks for coming. My name's Tessa. I'm one of the enrolment and course advisors for the college. There's also my colleague Kelly who isn't here today, but if anybody makes contact with us, you might receive a response from either one of us. I work as part of the Student Administration Services team for the college, and within that team there are a number of different aspects that we look after, and I'm also joined here today by my colleague Taryn and Will, who are both part of the team and are incredibly important staff members for us. And our team consists of people who help with enrolment, like myself, assessment, teaching support and assessments. In the wider student administration services team, there are also groups that look after student finance and scholarships, just like we saw on the other slide. And I would absolutely agree with Helen that if you are looking at scholarships, please do apply for anything that you think that you might be eligible for. The majority of scholarships that are available to students are available to undergraduate students commencing a degree for the first time at a university. So for yourselves, the most scholarships are available to your cohort. So it's absolutely worth having a look and seeing what's available. As a team, even though it says it in very plain words up there, we are dedicated, not just passionate, but we are dedicated to helping students through their studies and through the student life cycle. We are here to help and support you at every turn, and we would encourage you to reach out to us whenever you need help or if you're not sure what you need to be doing next. We are physically located just around the corner, actually, in the hospital, and on level 5, the same level as this, you just need to go down the corridor, and there we are right near the library. We are available from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday, but you can contact us at any time via email or via submitting an Ask Flinders request. The email address is listed up there and the Ask Flinders link is there. You can also navigate to that link through Flow or on the Flinders website. When you are contacting us via email, please provide as much information as you can, not only about yourself, so whether that be providing your student ID number, your FAN, your first name, your last name, anything that we can use to identify you, but also as much information as possible about what you are needing help with. The more information that we can have about yourself and your situation will make the process of helping you so much easier. That being said though, if you don't know what help you need, but you know you need some guidance, you need some direction, you need some information, but you're not sure exactly how to define that, that's okay too. It might mean that we have a longer conversation about it, but getting in contact with us as early as possible when you are concerned about something or when you want to find out the information will be the easiest way for us to help you. There is no silly question. There is nothing that will cause us any concern. We are here to help you. And the earlier that we can do that to make the process easier for yourself as you continue through your studies, and so it's not just now, it's at any point during your studies, we are here for you and would like to support you with that process. Starting, for some of you, this might be the first degree that you are starting, for others it might not be. But from my own experience studying, it can be overwhelming at times. It can be nice and easy and seem very simple. Through both of those peaks and troughs, we would like to support you. If you are having, outside of your enrolment or any concerns that you have with that, if you are having any other concerns, and I know Mel will talk about this later, but please do reach out to us so that we can be involved with that process and support you as much as we possibly can. At the end of this session, I will be floating around, so if any of you have any specific enrolment questions, you're more than welcome to come over and we can have a chat and we can go through it, or of course you're welcome to contact me after the session, whatever suits you. I think that's everything from me. I'll pass over to Melissa. Thank you.
Are you already falling asleep? No? My name's Melissa, or I also go by Mel. I'll answer to both, or sometimes Hey You. And I'm a Success and Wellbeing Advisor supporting this college and also Nursing Health Sciences. We're currently a team of 2. We'll be a team of 3 very soon. We lost one, but we're getting another one. So Anna, my colleague, and I really are here to help you when things get a little bit wobbly, which invariably they might. We understand that you don't study without having a whole nother life to look after. You have work and you have families and you have homesickness maybe, and you have financial issues, all sorts of things to navigate. So what we do is we're here to help you connect with services at the uni. There are loads of services here at Flinders, and sometimes it can be really overwhelming to know which service to go to, who to ask, how to ask. So Anna and I work with you to, I guess, break down any challenges you might be facing. So if you are trying to balance work and study and a bunch of other things and you're feeling like you're not managing it and you need some help, then you can come and have a chat with me and we'll try and link you in with the relevant services. So that might be, as I've said down here, it might be connecting in with a counsellor, or it might be speaking to disability services, or it might be that you're finding that you need to improve your learning skills, so it's linking you in with the Student Learning Support Service. Or maybe you need some financial counselling, so we'll recommend that you speak to the Students Association and to the financial counsellors. And really, if you've got a bunch of things going on, it can get really overwhelming. You're not sure where to start, then that's what I help you do. I help you kind of put a plan in place to access a bunch of things. The other thing that we can do is, I guess, assist you to set some goals and maybe develop a plan. So if you're getting into your course and maybe you're a semester in or 2 semesters in, maybe you're not really sure if this course is for you, maybe you're not sure what your career outcome is going to be, then you can also come and have a chat with me and we can help with some goal setting maybe, some motivation, connect you in with the careers team, that sort of thing as well. Lastly, I'll mention the Flinders Support Network text message. So in week 3, you'll get a text message and that'll say, how's life going at Flinders? Reply 1 for an email, reply 2 for a phone call. If you respond, then Anna or I will try to contact you and see how we can help. And that goes out to all students at Flinders across a 3-week period. So give us a few days to get back to you. But if you've got any questions whatsoever, anything that's bothering you in that week when you get the text message, it's definitely not spam. So do reply to it if you need help. We have lots of students who say, oh yeah, I saw it, I thought I was being spammed. And we're like, no, we really care, we want to help. So do respond to it if you need anything. I will also say that I work closely with topic coordinators. And so if a topic coordinator or maybe your course coordinator is concerned about maybe your progress, or they're concerned because you were coming to classes and then all of a sudden you're not coming to classes, or you were submitting things and then you're not submitting things, they might ask me to reach out to you as well. So it's not just a case of you having to put your hand up and ask for help. If your teachers identify that maybe there's something that they're concerned about, they might ask me to reach out to you. So don't be surprised if life's got a bit wobbly and you've forgotten to come to uni, if you get a phone call from me, and don't be scared by it at all, because we just want to help. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mel, and Tess as well. And I just realised I didn't even introduce myself. So I'm Helen Harrison. I am a senior lecturer in human physiology here in the Medicine and College of Medicine and Public Health. I'm also your course coordinator, so I coordinate the medical science programs, and I coordinate a couple of topics within the degree. So you will be well and truly sick of me throughout your studies, and teach into a number as well. So yeah, that's who this strange person is that's been talking at you for half the session already. But as Mel said, and Tess as well, we do have a really dedicated team that's here that's really wanting to support your success. And we recognise that success for many students looks very different. So, you know, for some students, success is, I need a high distinction in every single thing that I do. And for some students, success is, I turned up to class today. And so we will help you with whatever those goals are to make sure that you can achieve them and be as successful as you possibly can be throughout your time at uni. Now, back to services quickly. Library is a really untapped resource, I think, throughout the university. So we do have a medical library, which is on level 5. Essentially, if you follow the corridor down, you'll see the signs heading towards the library. There's the big central library up in the main campus. There's a library at the Sturt campus as well, and a really small library at the city campus too. So I will just say, because I don't think it's on these slides, we do have the new city campus, and even if you're not studying there, because you're Flinders students, you can go in there and still use the services and still use it as a study space if you live closer to the city, and it's easier for you to do that, and you just need a quiet space to study. So certainly utilise that if that's an easier place to get to for you. So the library staff are excellent. They actually can help you find resources for your assignments. So they can help you identify different databases that might be worthwhile looking for. If you've got an assignment about a particular area, they can point you in the direction of textbooks that might be useful or websites that might be useful. They can actually really support you in that process. And they do run workshops from time to time on how to search databases and how to look for the right kind of materials. So they can help you access textbooks, journal articles, videos, all of those sorts of things. There's the search support drop-in sessions and how to find literature. The branches at Bedford Park are open 24/7, but they're only staffed 9 till 5. But you need to actually get your student card set up to enable you to use that 24/7 access. But once you've got that, you can just head in there and study whenever you need to, which is quite handy. And there's a QR code there if you need it to access the library. Again, I'll put these slides up online, so you will get a copy of those. And you can also call them or email them as well. Oh, I've already done scholarships and I've done safety. Okay, health counselling and disability services. So Flinders has free counsellors available to students. We have free doctor service available to students. You can see a nurse if you need to as well. And we've got disability advisors. So if you have a chronic health or mental health condition that could be a barrier to your studies, I recommend organising a time to speak with a disability advisor, because you might be able to set up what we call an access plan. And an access plan is something that then essentially you can give to a topic coordinator that says, I have a condition. It doesn't label the condition. You don't have to share that information with anybody that you don't want to, but it essentially says that you need or have a certain set of accommodations that you require to help you be successful in your studies. So for some access plans, that might be that the student will get extensions on work up to 7 days. They don't need to supply any kind of extra material or doctor certificates about that. Their access plan is the evidence that they need to enable them to get extensions. Some students' access plans will give them extra time in assessments, in longer assessments, so like exams and mid-topic quizzes, end of semester quizzes, things like that. So again, if you've got a condition that means that it might take you a little bit longer to read through things or to process the information that you're looking at to be able to do an answer, that can be really beneficial for some students to enable them to be successful. And then also, the access plan sometimes might be, student might need to miss classes occasionally because of a condition that might flare up at different times. So again, it enables you to just contact the topic coordinator saying, I can't come to class today as per my access plan, full stop. You don't have to keep sharing your kind of story and personal information all the time. So that could be really helpful as well. And there's a load of self-help resources through health counselling and disability services too. So you can contact them via that number. You can contact counselling via the email, disability via this email. And we do have an after-hours crisis support line as well. So if it's outside of 9 to 5 and you encounter, kind of a really big dip in your mental health and you need some support, then you can call that number or SMS that number, and somebody will contact you and you can chat through what's going on with somebody. Oasis is an excellent service that the university offers and has a range of different things that it actually does. It's really, as the name suggests, a student wellbeing centre. So it's designed to kind of holistically support students, whether that be spiritually, emotionally, physically. It can do a lot. And there is a blog that's run by Oasis that kind of highlights a lot of their activities and different things that they've got coming up. So check that out. But you can see they've got conversation groups, there's volunteer programs, mental fitness workshops and community through Oasis, and it was kind of a combination of Oasis and health counselling and disability. They ran recently a workshop for students with ADHD on how to manage that and maximise their study success as a result. They've got chaplaincy services, yoga, they go for forest walks and meditation. They also do have, and it's not, the Flinders Community Market, it is up here, it's right at the top. So they do have markets at certain times of the year as well, and you can go and get really cheap food and sometimes free food through them as well. So again, if you're finding it difficult to be able to manage affording food and things like that, they can be really helpful in that sense. International student services are really beneficial if any of you are international students. They really are here to support you to succeed in your studies. Likely, if you're an international student, you've already had contact with them anyway, but just keep in mind that they are there to help support you in your learning. So if you've got any questions about your studies or anything that's going on for you, they can help support that. And other services about kind of just supporting students, again, in a more holistic kind of way. We've already talked about the student success and wellbeing advisors. There are prayer rooms across the university. There are conversation groups. There are equal opportunity advisors. So again, if you feel as if you've encountered any sort of discrimination, you can make complaints about that or make a report about that. That can lead to a complaint if you wish it to. Or you can just say, hey, here's something that happened. I'm not heaps happy about it. I just want to put that out there. And that will eventually feed back to not your name or anything, but if it's a person that's made you feel uncomfortable in that way, that you feel has not been giving you equal opportunity, then that will feed back to that person and they will have to kind of explain themselves as a result of that. There's Pride Network. We run a Good Vibes experiment in Wellbeing Week, really again supporting students' wellbeing and making sure everybody is, just successful from a personal level as well as an academic level. Finding your way at Flinders, you've possibly already been self-enrolled into this. So when you go onto that Flow dashboard, you hopefully should already see this topic. It's a really useful topic that kind of just runs you through things about Flinders, how to be successful at Flinders, getting familiar with how university works, even just some things like terminology. What do we mean by a lecture? What do we mean by a workshop, a seminar, a tutorial, all of those sorts of things. So again, it can be quite useful if you're finding some of the terminology a little bit messy to help get to know all of the different things that's happening within your studies. It does also have some tricks and shortcuts to help you study, and again, highlights those different support services that we have at Flinders. All right, that's a lot of just generalised information. Let's get into the nitty-gritty actually about medical science, which is probably more what you're interested to hear about. So speaking of Flow, we do have a Flow medical science course page. Again, you should probably already be enrolled in that. If you're not, if you can't see that on your dashboard, let me know and we'll make sure that the new crop of students have been rolled over. This welcome and orientation information is more so far from semester 1 orientation, but that's where I'll put this semester 2 recording and the slides. And then there's just general information. There's information about different things that are happening in medical science. There's some information about careers and employability. So we have an excellent careers advisor that works with us, who will often give us different jobs that have come up that are relevant for medical science students or medical science graduates. So you can start thinking about that. There's some information about our mentoring program. Again, that is more specific to semester 1, but we do still run in semester 2. So if you need a mentor, we absolutely can run that program and make sure that you're getting supported in that way. Information on our placement topic. It's a year 3 topic where you can go into a research lab and do a semester of research with a researcher. There's information on laboratory medicine placements for those of you that are laboratory medicine students. There's information on FUMES, which Kirsty will talk about shortly as well, and information on honours and scholarships too. But I'll post announcements for things that are relevant to you too. So they'll come to you via emails, but you can also just come and check the announcements if there's things that you think you might have missed. All right, here's our medical science leadership team. So as I said, I'm the course coordinator. Our laboratory medicine coordinator, Associate Professor Vula Gaganis, couldn't make it today, but she will be probably, for any of you that are doing laboratory medicine, a more first point of call rather than me. She's a bit more, or has run through the accreditation process for a laboratory medicine course, so is probably the better person to speak to about that because she knows all of the ins and outs of the accreditation. So our laboratory medicine course is accredited now. It means that it gives you this qualification that you can take around Australia and around the world really to say that you are an accredited medical scientist. Our Year 2 advisor is Benoit. He is also coordinator of a couple of the genetics topics, so you'll see him teaching into genetics, and our coordinator of our Skills for Medical Science 3rd year topic as well. And Chris is our Year 3 advisor, so Chris works in anatomy and coordinates our 2 3rd year anatomy topics. So your year level advisors and me as well and Vula, we can all help you if you're thinking about topic selection, if you've got questions about different topics, you know, you're kind of going, I'm throwing up between this and this, can you give me any advice about what might be more suitable for me? We can be a point of call if you want to talk about different personal or academic difficulties that you're having. Again, we are more than happy for you to speak to those things with us, but we recognise that for some students, they don't want to speak to their teaching team about particular personal or academic struggles they might be having, and that's again where Mel comes into it as being a good kind of conduit between that. We can help you with information about access plans if you do want to find out more about those, and also elite athlete plans. So if any of you are elite athletes and competing at a national level, you actually can get, again, special compensations to enable you to be able to go and compete, so that topic coordinators are aware that you're going to need extensions at different times and you might miss classes due to that, that competition. If you've got questions about your topics, then your topic coordinator is probably the best person to ask. So if you need to submit an extension request for assignments, most of that gets done on Flow anyway. But again, they can answer questions if you have them. You can submit your access plan to a topic coordinator. You also don't have to. So if you do have an access plan and you choose not to share that, you don't have to share it. It's completely up to you as if you need to or not. Topic coordinators will be the ones that will have all your workshop and tutorial documents and materials, and where you can ask questions about the assessment and things. Most of our topics also have the opportunity of being topic representatives. So if you want a bit of a leadership opportunity, you want to be able to kind of work with a topic coordinator to help improve the experience for students within the topic, then you can nominate to be a topic rep, and you'll see announcements about that starting to come out shortly from topic coordinators. Now, you might be starting to think, what am I doing here? So we do have students coming into medical science with a range of different pathways in mind, or perhaps not really having a pathway in mind, but just wanting a good broad degree that can head in a number of different directions. So there certainly are a number of different types of medical scientists. Laboratory medical scientists will work more in diagnostic pathology. So they'll work with assay pathology, ClinPath and Australian clinical labs, where we do also have research scientists who might go and work at FIMRI, our Flinders Health and Medical Research Institute, and work in that big shiny new building that's just been finished off and people have moved into now. So medical science is very broad. There's a number of different areas that you can work there. There's a number of different graduate destinations. So some of our graduates head straight into a working environment. Some go into future or further study. So they might go into an honours degree if they're interested in research. They might go into then eventually a PhD. We do have an exclusive subquota for medical science students to get into medicine. So a lot of our students are aiming to get into medicine. But then we also have pathways into nutrition and dietetics, speech pathology, audiology, occupational therapy and physiotherapy as well. So loads of different pathways are open to you as a medical science student to enable you to head in a number of different areas. The thing to keep in mind is that nutrition and dietetics, OT and physio do have particular topics that you need to make sure that you do so that you meet the prereqs for that. In terms of if you're going to head straight into work, we've got graduates that will go straight into working at clinical trials facilities. They might be lab technicians or work in sales and management for like scientific materials and reagents. They might go into a pharmaceutical setting, into a pharmaceutical lab, biotech spaces, or cardiac respiratory sleep physiologists, so working in labs and doing respiratory testing, sleep testing, all of those sorts of things. If you're doing just the straight Bachelor of Medical Science and the idea of lab med is somewhat appealing to you, you actually can transfer across into laboratory medicine as well. So that's also an option that's available to you. You just want to keep in mind the core topics for laboratory medicine to make sure you meet those criteria. But you can be credited with all those first year topics if you move across into lab med. Now, what I want to do is ask you a few questions. So if you go to menti.com and enter in this code 54856173 or scan that QR code, we'll ask a few questions and allow you to input a little bit. Now I will just get out of here, but you'll still be able to see the code shortly. So you can see up here it's got menti.com and the code, that 54856173, or you can scan that QR code. So first question is, how are you feeling about starting your course? So if people mention the same word a couple of times, it gets bigger. So it looks like excited and nervous are common themes. Give it another minute or so, but that's excellent that most of that's quite positive, which is good to see. Nervous is a very common one that we absolutely see come up quite a lot. It's understandable, stepping into anything kind of new and a bit different. Most people feel a bit nervous in that. hopefully those nervous feelings will start going away relatively quickly once you actually get started. If they don't, and that nervous feeling is actually then again becoming a bit of a barrier, then that's where some of the support services, or you can come and have a conversation with me, you can speak with Melissa, you can access some of the support services and we can hopefully help that nervous feeling disappear. Likewise with stress, we want you to enjoy your time here and not be super stressed, but we understand that studying and coming to university can be slightly stressful. But if that becomes too much, then again, speak with us and we can try and help. But great that everybody's feeling pretty excited about it all. Next question, what are you hoping to do after your degree? Completely understandable if you don't know yet. These shouldn't really be the same colours, but they have been coming up the same colours. So this kind of breakdown is not unusual for what we end up seeing. So as I said, a lot of students come into medical science hoping to get into medicine, so you are not alone. And that actually does create a really nice network because it means that there's a number of you that are likely needing to sit GAMSAT at the same time, are needing to kind of have high GPAs, are going to be sharing similar kind of stresses. So it does mean that you have friends around you that are wanting to achieve the same thing. Research, excellent. There's loads of opportunities to get involved in research quite early. So there are summer research scholarships. We've got our placement topic. Any researcher that you come into contact with will be more than happy to talk about their research. So if you are interested in research and there's something that interests you, contact them, send them an email and say, hey, I'm really interested in what you're doing. Can we have a chat? They will absolutely want to talk to you, and possibly too much. You might try and get away. Allied health, excellent. So again, this degree is very broad and it really enables you to keep your options open. So even if you're thinking of medicine, then I'd probably have a look at if there are any of those other allied health pathways as well that you're interested in. So you can keep those options open if, you get towards the end and go, actually, you know what? Medicine's not appealing to me too much anymore, but I do want to get into one of these other kind of fields. And I don't know, like I said, hugely popular choice as well and completely understandable. There's sometimes I think I don't know what I want to do when I grow up either. All right, let's go back to the presentation. We'll just talk through a few more bits and pieces. So this is actually some data that we got from students who had finished medical science and the different pathways that they have ended up in. It's limited in terms of that the data set was gathered through LinkedIn. So we do encourage students to try and connect with us on LinkedIn so that we can follow your pathways beyond your studies. But you can see we do have a lot of students that end up going into these clinical roles. So they go in to be doctors. We've got a lot of students that head into research and become research fellows or technical officers. So the more yellow it is, the more students have gone into that pathway. We've got students who have gone into health administration and management and sales, so headed more into kind of a public health type space. So become a health economist or an analyst or an admin officer. We've got students, again, that are heading into that laboratory medicine pathway, so becoming a laboratory medical scientist and working in SA pathology. And we've got a lot of students that will head into those allied health pathways as well. So I've somewhat already said this, but loads of different pathways, and this website, this Study Medicine Medical Science, will give you an idea about all of the different pathways that you can head towards. We don't actually have yet the tabs on here about physiotherapy and occupational therapy, but if they're ones that you're interested in, let me know and I can point out what topics you actually need to be able to do those. We did run a Getting Your Study Plan Sorted event a few weeks back. I'll be sharing that online as well, and that actually has some information about that and different topics that you want to make sure that you're doing to keep those pathways available. And then obviously we've got our Doctor of Medicine, so the MD, Master of Science in Medicine. Nobody really does that, but anyway, Master of Biotech and PhD too as different options that you can do. Now, we do have a number of different courses under this medical science kind of banner, which I've already really touched on, but we do have a standard medical science program, 3-year course. There's 3 different majors that you can choose from, or you don't have to pick a major. You can just have a flexible study plan and pick and choose different bits that appeal to you. We've got our BMS Honours, which is a 3-year BMS, but then with a 1-year honours attached. You actually also can just enrol in a 1-year honours after you finish your 3-year BMS program if you want to, if that's still something that interests you at that point. Our 4-year laboratory medicine program, 4-year laboratory medicine with a regional placement, and our associate degree for LabMed, which is 2 years, but has the capacity, if you wish to transfer across into the LabMed degree and become a laboratory scientist if you would like to. Now, heaps of information on the different study plans. So whether it's the flexible study plan for mid-year entry into medical science or major in human immunology and infectious diseases for mid-year, you can find them at this link here and just essentially search medical science and you'll see the different study plans come up. And I do have some more specific links shortly. So this is a generalised study plan for mid-year entry into medical science, just the Bachelor of Medical Science, but a lot of these first year plans look the same, and then it's kind of beyond first year that you can start specialising a little bit more. So the actual link to this study plan is here, and then we've got the different majors incorporated as well, and I'll talk about them more shortly. Chemistry 1A is only really for students that have studied Year 12 chemistry first. If you haven't done Year 12 chemistry, then we recommend studying general chemistry before chemistry 1A, because otherwise you just might not have the prerequisites, and chemistry 1A will be very, very challenging. So if you haven't done Year 12 chemistry, or it's you don't feel as if your chemistry skills are where you would like them to be, then take general chemistry first, and you'll need to do that in semester 1 next year, and then you can do chemistry 1A down in semester 2 in the year after that, or in that next semester, sorry. So just keep that in mind, that if you haven't done Year 12 chemistry, then you need to do Chem 1201, which is general chemistry first. So for most of you, your first semester will be histology, so MMED 1007, so looking at the different tissues and cell types that make up the body, a little bit of functional information on those, but really what do they look like, what are they doing? You'll do how your body works, human physiology and structure with me. We run it in semester 2 fully online. I do run it in semester 1 in person as well. So you could think about shifting that to in person if you wanted to in semester 1, but it works better for the study plan just to do it online in semester 2. But we do run face-to-face workshops, or not face-to-face, they're online, but happening at the same time. So if you do want that interaction, we can still do that in that online version. And then next semester, you'll be doing some biology and skills for medical scientists, and then you've got some option topics that you can pick as well. Now, the majors, they need a little bit of reworking to be able to fit with this mid-year entry study plan. It's possible, but make sure if you are thinking of some of the majors to check out the study plan, so you can definitely make sure you're taking the topics when you need to, so that we're not getting to kind of third year and having to retrofit different topics. I've already said this about chemistry. If you haven't done Year 12 chemistry, then do general chem first. If you have done Year 12 chem, then do chem 1A, and you should be able to step straight into that. If you've got any chemistry questions, you can email Sue Pike, who's one of our chemistry coordinators. Now, the different majors, we do have human immunology and infectious diseases, human physiology, neuroscience and anatomy, and molecular medicine. But as I said before, you don't have to pick a major. You actually can just do a flexible study plan. You can pick topics from each of the majors, mix it all together, and really follow your interests. And you don't actually have to select a major right now. You can do that as you head towards your second year as well. So don't panic in terms of, oh my goodness, I've got to make this decision right now. It's probably a good idea to wait a little bit and see how you enjoy some of the topics first, because you don't want to be locked into, and you're not locked in, you can always come out of it anyway, but say you don't want to be doing a human physiology, neuroscience and anatomy major, but then you hate how your body works or something like that. So, make sure that you kind of test out a few things to see what you're interested in. So human immunology and infectious diseases has virology, skills for medical scientists topic, or that actually sits outside of that now, introduction to human molecular genetics, human immunology and infectious diseases, and then in third year it's got some kind of higher, more advanced level topics along that same line. Physiology, neuroscience and anatomy has integrative human physiology, which I coordinate, excellent topic, fundamental neuroscience, and then starts heading into some more, again, advanced level anatomy and physiology neuroscience topics. And then we've got molecular medicine, which actually has a little bit of flexibility to it. So if you're interested in genetics, you can do kind of a genetics pathway where you do introduction to human molecular genetics and then advanced human molecular genetics, or you can do a more pharmacology pathway. So you can do principles of pharmacology and toxicology and then medicines bench to bedside. But essentially these core topics here are the topics that you would need to do to make sure that your academic transcript has it listed as a major for you on there. So the majors aren't listed on your testament, so they're not on your actual degree that you get handed on the stage at the convention centre in 3 years' time, but they will be listed on your academic transcript. All right, opportunities and development within medical science. We are going to talk about LabMed shortly as well. There are opportunities to study overseas if you want to. So if you want to keep head to another university, do a little bit of study. Flinders has partnerships with over 70 overseas universities, and that enables you to be able to go and do some study there. And your fees are the same. Essentially, you pay Flinders fees, but you can go and study overseas. You can also pay outside of that. So if there's a university that offers something that you're really excited about, you actually can go and study there. You would have to pay for that, which would be very expensive. But again, if it's something that you want to do, you can do that. And then you can be credited for that for your degree. So there's loads of opportunities where you can have that flexibility and, you know, head overseas and do some study and gain some experiences over there. So it's this study abroad or outbound, and there's information here that you can access to find out more about that. Loads of different research opportunities. So there are the Summer Research Awards. Most students will do that between second and third year, so at the end of their second year, because that's when they've got a bit more of an understanding about the things that have interested them and come into contact with a few more of the researchers to be able to have an understanding of where they would want to spend some time. So those research awards are essentially 4 to 6 weeks of paid placement within a lab. You can get a bit of a taster for research. We do have a third year professional placement topic. So that's a 9-unit topic, which means it takes the place of 2 topics. And that runs throughout a semester. You end up working in a lab probably about 2 days a week and get real hands-on experience in doing that. I highly recommend that if you're interested in research, and even if you're not, it really is a good place to get some real life kind of experience as you move through this course and learn how labs work and all of those sorts of things. And then obviously there's honours and PhD beyond this. Information, you can find a placement honours project booklet, so that it talks through different supervisors, different projects that they're running. Most of the ones that run placement topics and honours projects will also have summer research students as well. So if you're interested in that, then I recommend having a look through that booklet. And you can also check out our Health Medical Research Institute site, which has got a lot of information about the different projects that are happening around our college. Professional development as a student, there's opportunities to facilitate in Skills for Medical Scientists. So after you've done the topic, if you enjoyed doing that and you want to kind of feed back to students in a paid role, then there's opportunities to be able to facilitate for that topic. You can become a peer mentor. So for next year, I'll start kind of advertising for peer mentors towards the end of this year. There's the Horizon Award that Flinders runs, which is a really kind of well-known professional development program that has a number of different things that you can do. You earn points, and that again is something really useful to put on your CV that highlights a number of different qualifications that you've achieved. Career opportunities, I touched on it before, but I'll post any ones that we get from our careers advice team onto that flow page, and there's different leadership opportunities as well. So you can be a member of FUMES and work with Kirsty for the rest of this year, and then she's going to leave us, or you can be a topic rep. And we also have our employability roadmaps, which you can find at this link, and that kind of gives you some tips that you can be doing throughout your degree to help make you more employable at the end of it. Check out the Careers Hub. There's loads of different information. They've got a specific page for resources and medical science careers. You can see the links here, so definitely check that out. And there are information on jobs while you study, but also graduate opportunities and early career roles as well. We do have prizes in medical science, so a number of different prizes, some academic focused, some research focused, some more, again, holistically focused. So we do have a prize for social accountability. So if you're doing work kind of either within your studies or outside of your studies that actually are supporting the community and helping the community, then you can nominate for this prize or ask somebody to nominate you. And we do have a prize for university inclusion and support. So those students who have really supported others throughout their university journey can be nominated for that prize too. All right, laboratory medicine. As I said, VULA is unavailable, so I'll talk through that really quickly. And it is starting to get very cold, so I'll try and be quick. So the laboratory medicine degree is essentially 3 years working with us, and then the final year is out on placement for the entire time. So you're working in SA pathology labs or ClinPath or Australian clinical labs for that whole year, gaining experience essentially as a medical scientist while you work in there. One thing I will say is every single one of our students who graduated laboratory medicine last year has now got jobs in some of the labs that they were doing placements in. So it is a really good pathway to head directly into work. It's designed to develop scientists who will be able to enter laboratory employment as medical scientists, and it's accredited by AIMS, the Australian Institute of Medical Scientists. You can check out the handbook with information on LabMed via that link. So AIMS accreditation is a big deal. It was a very long process to go through that. We were accredited provisionally until July 2025, but that should continue onwards because the recommendations that they gave us weren't too onerous, and we're currently working towards those. But again, essentially it gives you this qualification that means you are recognised as a qualified medical scientist wherever you go. So that can enable you to be employed overseas and anywhere in Australia as a medical scientist. Now, in terms of what to expect for LabMed at Flinders, first year, second year, third year, fourth year, you can find this information online. First year is very similar to a standard medical science degree. There's not too many different topics in there. But then second and third year, there's still medical science topics, but they're specialised to make sure that you meet the needs of our accreditation and what you're going to require heading into that fourth year of placement to make sure that you're going to have the skills and knowledge to be a successful medical scientist. Now, there are regional scholarships available for students to apply for. So if you're interested in doing a regional placement, you can apply for that. There'll be information that'll be made available kind of over the years, but particularly when you're in year 3. And so that's $2,500 plus an SA pathology contract. So you are guaranteed work for the year after you finish placements in that regional lab following graduation. Here's a generalised mid-year study plan for LabMed. So again, you can see same kind of topics, the histology and how your body works are 2 core topics for this first semester. And then there's a couple of options. LabMed has a more limited range of options because again, we need to be very specific about the topics you have to do to make sure you meet the requirements of the degree and to be accredited fully. So there's a range of different ones that really kind of speak to that molecular medicine style of topics with some immunology and infectious diseases as well. One of your capstone topics is haematology and transfusion science. That topic can be taken by medical science students as well, but it actually has some core components or compulsory components that our LabMed students have to complete to demonstrate competency. But that's an excellent topic that's getting really good reviews from students. All right. Year 4, as we've said, that's professional practice in medical science, so that's your placement. So you are on placement in semester 1 and semester 2. We have started negotiating that can be part-time for those students that need it. There is some flexibility in how you do that. Hopefully we'll start looking at being able to do some non-semester placements as well, again, to try and work around students' lives and what works for them a little bit better, and enabling you to get all of your placement hours completed in a way that suits you. said about placement, 2 times 13 clinical placements in a range of different places. Some of those are rural placements. As we said, there is some scholarships available, but some students will just head out to rural regions anyway, and there is some accommodation support that can be provided by Flinders if you're having to do a placement that's more than 50 kilometres away from your home. So we've had students just recently up in Berry working up there. They loved that. We've had students at Victor Harbour, at Murray Bridge. Any of those students that are in those kind of rural labs have had a really good experience, because essentially you're just thrown straight in with a team. You're having to do some pretty high level work fairly quickly, because they're often undemand in terms of the number of people that they have working in those spaces. You're still very well supported while you're there and trained effectively, but you often can do some more interesting work compared to when you're in the kind of more regional city-based labs. So there's a number of different pathology disciplines which you'll start getting an idea of as you move through the degree, but that you can start actually looking at where you want to do your placement as well. So you'll be able to preference where you'd like to go. Sometimes we can meet those preferences and other times we can't, but essentially there's anatomical pathology, there's chemical pathology, genetics and molecular pathology, so a number of different areas that you can head into. Haematology, so a lot of the big labs will have haematology labs looking at doing blood typing and things like that, making sure that when people have blood transfusions, they're not going to react in a very negative way. Immunology, microbiology and infectious diseases. Here's all the different placement locations that are potentially available, and there are some single discipline labs, so they really are specific to certain areas, or there are more multidiscipline labs, so where they'll cover a number of different areas and you'll get a bit of a taste of a number of different bits and pieces across that. There are some links here to some little videos kind of highlighting some of the different things that happen in SA pathology. So I recommend checking that out if you want some more information. Again, I'll put this online. And we do have some student stories as well that I'll allow you to read in your own time from students who have gone out on placement and what their experience of that has been. Hannah is one of our students who is now currently employed as a medical scientist with SA pathology. And this is a link to the employability roadmap for laboratory medicine, and I had a link previously for the one for medical science. The associate degree is a 2-year program, so it doesn't have the placement component, but what it does is it qualifies you to be a technical officer in a diagnostic pathology lab, but you then can also use it as a bouncing board to get into the bachelor program. If you enjoy the study, you can also use it as an exit award from the Bachelor of Laboratory Medicine. So if you're doing the Bachelor of Laboratory Med, you get to the end of 2 years and you kind of go, this might not be for me, or actually I've had some stuff come up, I need to go straight to work, then you can exit with an associate degree and still be qualified as a technical officer. So similar kind of study layout. This is actually not the mid-year entry. So essentially have a look at the Lab Med, very similar study layout for the topics that you need to do, with the only difference being that you actually have to do this haematology and transfusion science topic within that 2 years, whereas normally it's a 3rd year topic, but that one's a requirement by SA Pathology, again, to make sure that you qualify as a technical officer. Clothing, you can get clothing. So if you're a laboratory medicine student, when you go out on placement, it actually is an expectation that you'll have some clothing that labels you as a Flinders laboratory medicine student. You can also just get some medical science t-shirts and things as well. But if you go to Corporate Image online and look at medical science, you'll see the options that are available for you. But essentially compulsory for lab med students in their 4th year, not compulsory for anything else. And there are lab coats as well that are medical science branded if you want to get one of those. Now, back to different support services. How much longer am I going? We're nearly done. So different support services. We've got this Flinders Support Services and Directory. It looks a bit busy. There's a lot there, but that's really a key starting point if you're looking for different supports that Flinders offers. So again, financial support, study and learning support, careers and employment, health and wellbeing. There's a lot there for students to be able to access. I've already talked about Health Counselling and Disability. Student Learning Support Service, or SLSS, they can provide one-to-one study support online or in person. They run workshops to help you develop academic skills. There's online tip sheets and courses that you can go through to help support your academic studying skills and options and things like that. So definitely check that out. You can book appointments with learning advisors. They do have drop-in sessions as well. So up at the library in an area they call the Commons, you can just head there and go, hey, I'm having trouble with this assignment. Can somebody help me, please? And they absolutely will do that. So definitely check that out if you need learning support, or even if you don't need learning support and just want to know how to do things a little bit better. So one thing that I will say is a lot of students won't access these support services until they're kind of in crisis. They're not for students who are just failing or really struggling. They're actually for students who just want to be able to do as best as they possibly can. So if you're getting credits, but you want to be getting distinctions or high distinctions, you absolutely can go and use these services as well. It's not just for if you're failing. So just keep that in mind. And there's some flow sites, flow topics that you can run through from Student Learning Support Service as well, that again highlight have different study guides and different activities that you can do to boost your studying capacity. I'm just repeating a whole heap of things. Flinders does have an excellent neurodivergent study support and advocacy group. So it's a private Facebook group that's actually been set up by students. It's run by students. Really good resource if you identify as being neurodivergent. Doesn't have to have been you don't have to be diagnosed. But I recommend checking out that Facebook group or emailing the team because you'll just get, again, a good network of students that can help share their tips and what help them be successful. And there is a University Students with Disabilities Association as well. I've already said that. There's a common room in the medical centre, which a lot of students don't end up knowing about. So if you go downstairs to level 4, there's a cafe near there, so you can buy coffee there. It's not great, it's probably the worst coffee around here, but you know, sometimes that's the quickest you can get to. The best coffee's up the hill. But anyway, there is a common room that's got a microwave, it's got some tables, it's got some couches. The code for it is 9014, so it's room 4E109. A lot of the medical students will use that, but it's for all students that study in Flinders, so don't feel like you can't use it as well. But yeah, good spot to make yourself some food if you need to, or just have a little break and get away kind of from the hospital side of things. We've kind of already talked about different wellbeing and support services, but you can see that again on that student support listings. I really recommend checking out Gareth Ferber, who's one of the psychologists here at Flinders and works for Oasis and Health Counselling and Disability Service. He runs a blog, just student health and wellbeing blog, and just again, on a really regular basis, sends out information about here's what's happening across the uni. Hey, we're getting into, exam time. Here's ways to manage your stress and all of those sorts of things. Or here's how to be more productive. Here's how to, if you're procrastinating, ways that you can kind of prevent or stop that from happening and can be more productive. So check out his blog because I find that he does really share some really useful tips. All right, now into peer mentoring program that we run. It is a smaller version of our semester 1 peer mentoring program because in semester 1 we have about 150 students start, semester 2 we have about 30, so it's a much smaller group, but we still offer that regardless. So come back to Mentimeter and we will just quickly, so same presentation as before, and this is just talking about have you been to university before? You can scan the QR code or if you're already still logged in. That's satisfying, isn't it? One for each. So what I'm going to try and do is highlight how peer mentoring can be supportive and be useful for you. And just to recognise that students come to university from a number of different backgrounds with a number of different levels of experience. So if you have been to university before, but you might not have, you haven't studied this degree before, you actually still might be a really useful resource to other students, or you still might have things to learn specifically about medical science. So helping you by joining a mentoring program, that actually still might benefit you, but it also helps create a network where your experiences might help benefit other people. So we've got 4 people that have been to university before, 3 that haven't, and 1 that's studied foundation studies or extension studies. So kind of had a taster of uni heading in. Do you know anyone else starting this degree, apart from who you might have just met briefly today? So again, this is fairly standard. Generally, we see that some people do know some of the people who are starting, but a lot of people don't. And so don't feel as if everybody else has friends and knows everyone and you don't. There's a number of people that won't know anybody. And that takes some time sometimes to get to know other people and to start feeling a bit comfortable and find your people and develop your networks that can help support you through your studies. Again, peer mentoring can actually help do that. All right, do you feel that you know everything about uni already and won't have any problems? This is good to see. Our mid-year entry students are a lot more confident than our semester 1 starting students. So again, I guess what this is trying to highlight is that people, again, come with a range of different experiences. Some people feel really confident about starting. They don't necessarily need that kind of transitional support. Other people don't feel that way, and having that support as you first start can be really beneficial. All right, we'll go back to the orientation presentation and we are nearly done, and then everybody can have some snacks and ask some questions. Right, so our peer mentoring program is really designed to help you transition into university, provide support to new students, help give you knowledge about different support services, help give you knowledge about medical science in particular, like here's good topics, here's not so good topics, here's some study skills that helped me while I was studying that topic versus here's ones that aren't all that useful, help give you an understanding of policies and procedures. Flinders has a number of different policies that we have to abide by. They are not very clear in how they come across. So they're not very student friendly in the way that they look, but our mentors can help you kind of navigate that. We also obviously have staff that can help you navigate that and absolutely will attempt to do so. But if there's things that you're not sure about, it can help. They can help share their academic survival tips, so they can give you things that went wrong for them so you don't make the same mistakes as they did. And it can help you build self-confidence and social networks. So certainly a number of students from their peer mentoring group made friendships and they're still friends with those students as they're moving through. So our mentors obviously were first year students previously, so they can help you understand, so they have a really good understanding of that first year student lifestyle, expectations, you know, how overwhelming it can be suddenly going, so I've got to manage Flow, my email, the student system, what does this all mean? Why am I getting 30,000 Flow notifications on a daily basis? They can help you understand student etiquette, so how to formulate an email to a topic coordinator, like what's the correct kind of way of doing that and how should I sign off and all of those sorts of things. And they've got knowledge of that because they were students in this course just like you are. So essentially all of you, I will email giving you information about your mentor. At the moment, our mentor really is Phil, which I'll let you say a few words about yourself shortly, Phil. So I'll email you details about that. You can work with Phil to think about times that you want to meet. Again, some of you might go, not for me, I don't really need it, and opt out. So you can just say, actually, I don't need that at the moment. But just know that if you do need to opt back in, you absolutely can. So if you kind of go, I didn't think I needed help at first, but you get to week 4 going, you know, by all means, just get back in contact and Phil will still be more than happy to support you. I've said students are placed in groups based on their home address. We don't do that for mid-year, so apologies of that. So getting involved, attend the meetings. They'll be weekly before the mid-semester break, fortnightly after that. Again, there's some negotiation that can happen in that space. If that doesn't work for you all and you decide we do want to be part of a mentoring group, but that's not going to work for us, that can be flexible, so don't worry about that. And if there's a time that most people are free, but you're not, and a couple of other people want to look at a different mentor group, then we can certainly organise that as well. So, Phil, do you want to introduce yourself quickly?
Yep, hi everyone, my name's Phil, so I'll be your mentor for this semester. So I was already a peer mentor last semester, so yeah, we'll have a bit more of a chat afterwards if we want. And yeah, just a bit of an idea what I did with my mentoring group last semester, so we just speak about anything, whether it's, especially at the start, just administration things, enrolling, who to see for these certain things, and then later on throughout the semester, we discuss things like exam study strategies, or maybe some of my group were thinking about changing paths or into a different degree, so things like that. So yeah, that's generally, and yeah, we can speak afterwards if you want as well. So yeah.
Thank you very much. All right. Now, I will pass over to Kirsty. This is the last thing, I promise, and then everybody can eat and we can answer questions that you might have and all of those sorts of things, who is a president of our Flinders Medical Science Student Society, also known as FUMES.
Thank you, Helen. I'll just change over to our presentation. No, that's okay. I've got it. All right. So, as Helen said, I'm Kirsty. I'm the current president of FUMES, also known as the Flinders University Medical Science Society. We are basically like the student life people. We want to just enhance the student experience. Everything you've heard today, it's a lot. There's a lot going on. You've been hit with the admin stuff, the course outline stuff. It's a lot. But we have social media, so you can message us about literally anything. There'll be someone on the other end, usually me, who will answer your questions, whether you have any concerns about, making friends or, what topics to choose, anything. We have been through it all, and most. If we haven't, we know someone who has. So yeah, I'd say we're a pretty good point of contact. So let's get into it. So yeah, we like to create camaraderie and unity between all year levels by expanding the social culture of B MedSci. Now, something that I have sort of found, mid-year entry people tend to be a little bit worried at first about integrating themselves into the rest of the cohorts. Don't worry about that, because I've planned a quiz night for next week, Thursday. So there'll be prizes, all sorts. We had a little trial run earlier in the years. We'd never done a quiz night in previous years, but it went pretty well. So yeah, we're going to go full steam ahead with another quiz night, prizes, food, all sorts. More information on that later. Okay, look, you've seen the medical science family thing earlier, but I just wanted to show you my little transition from earlier this year. Just to get a quick show of hands, who's in the just normal BMS, Bachelor of Medical Science? Okay, most of you. No honours, I don't think. No. No accelerated. Anyone in lab med? Yeah, cool. Associate degree? Okay. Oh, really? Oh, okay. Oh, okay, cool. Okay, so we've got a big team. It's not just me, although this does happen to be me. I haven't had Red Bull in a while, and I haven't had a donut in a while, but you will find me on campus very frequently. I just said to Helen earlier, I left my house 10 minutes before I got here. So yeah, I basically live here, but this is my final semester, so not for long. But yeah, this is my email. You're more than welcome to email me if you have any questions about my experience, want some advice, anything. This is Kristen. He couldn't make it today. He is the vice president, good friend of mine. He is very, very part-time. One topic left from his entire degree. But I'm actually not sure what topic he's chosen, but you might see him around. We're not sure, but he'll be at our events. Yeah, good guy. And this is the rest of our committee. So we've got a whole big team. Great people. They will also be on the other end of our socials if you have any questions. we've all been through all these different experiences, and we don't have a photo of her here, but we do have a first year representative as well. Her name's Elsie. She's really lovely. Yeah, you'll get to know all of us as the year progresses, and we have some more events, which is this slide. If you scan the QR code just there, it'll take you to our Instagram. I highly recommend you follow that, by the way. So yeah, as I mentioned earlier, we do have a quiz night on the 25th of July, which is in this room from 6 to 9 p.m. Yeah, usually we, give you pizza. We're going to have a lot of questions, and you don't have to form a team like prior. We'll just, you can figure it out when you get here. We also host some academic events. So we've got a careers showcase event on the 22nd of August, which is going to be in that new shiny HMRB building, which is going to be very exciting. There's going to be food, like branded cupcakes, all sorts. It's going to be really cool. And if you just want an excuse to go have a look at it, go for it. I'll be there as well. And a very, very popular event, our pub crawl, will be on the 27th of September. I'm currently organising t-shirts. If you go into the link in our bio, there's currently a poll that's live. You get to basically pick which. We've got a design competition going on at the moment. It's currently neck and neck between two different designs, so I need you guys to break up that so we can make a decision. And then finally, we've got our medical science ball on the 22nd of November, which is after exams. It's going to be really fun. I actually haven't told anyone this, anyone outside the committee, but it's going to be a Gatsby theme, which is going to be really cool. So yeah, that's exciting. So basically we do have a membership sort of set up. So it is $15, but you never have to pay it again. Once you pay it, that's it. You get discounts on merch, event tickets, all sorts. So I do highly recommend that you become a Fumes member. We also post general reminders, event details, MedSci job opportunities, survival tips, and other opportunities within the College of Medicine and Public Health. Now, we don't currently have merch options available right now, but I will be opening it back up. We did have crew necks, but we have hoodies. They're quite cool. They're very warm. 75 for non-members, 70 for Fumes members. These are our socials. Feel free to scan, follow, all the rest of it. I'll just leave that up there for a little bit. But one thing I do want to mention now is that I'll stick around after this, but this is my final year of MedSci, so I have gone through the majority of my degree. So any questions that you can't think of now, you can just message us later and I will answer them as well. I also work at ClinPath, so if you have any questions about lab med at all, I can answer it to a certain degree. I'm a technical assistant. So happy to answer any questions about that. Now, you are here, which is the FMC, but Flinders is huge, and it's pretty, one of the most daunting things is figuring out where on earth to go. But we made some videos earlier this year, so you don't need to worry about that because you can just find these on the course flow site. Yeah. So here is getting to the Biodiscovery Centre, which is where you'll have all your first year bio topics. So labs, usually here.
Hey guys, we're currently outside the student hub and now we're going to take you to the Biodiscovery Centre where you'll have all your bio rights. Follow me.
This is Kristen, by the way.
speak of.
That's me
this is
panting. I'm so sorry.
Sort of a halfway point between the main campus and the Biodiscovery Centre. Nearly there.
Yeah. They have these huge sausage rolls, like $5. Yeah.
After that long, treacherous walk, we're finally at the Biodiscovery Centre. This is the room where you will have majority of your bio labs.
I forgot to mention, we started off at the hub. Does everyone know where the hub is? Okay, cool. Well, now we have a hub to FMC video.
Hey guys, we're now outside the flagpoles. These are near the bus stops as well. We'll now take you to the Foodness Medical Centre via the Health Sciences building.
Oh yeah. It doesn't get any easier. You go on holidays and you don't get, and then, I don't know, you lose your fitness.